Hari Om. Good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. Please come. Let's use the power of collective praying. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya sahanavavatu sahano bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord the Almighty, the Omniscient, the Omnipresent, and the Omnipotent, together with devotion and complete surrender prapatti, we offer our humble salutations to seek your grace, your mercy, your blessings, your love, your compassion, your forgiveness, your strength. O Lord, bless us with the divine qualities Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, only and only to understand thy true nature and have the first-hand experience of thy nature within us. We beseech in you that at the end of our lives, we reach thy holy feet. Om Tat Sat. By the grace of God and the blessings of the Guru Parampara, today we are on our Divine Discourse number 313 on the 5th of January 2023. Shubhakrit Nama Samvatsar, Dakshinayan, Hemantarutu Pushyamasa, Shukla Paksha Chaturdashi, Mrugashira Nakshatra, Shukla Yoga Vanijakarani. On this auspicious day of Thursday, and the auspicious time of the evening, we all take a firm resolve in our minds. Na ham karta hari karta, hari preranaya. Whatever comes to us in our lives is nothing but the play of the Lord. Every situation, every circumstance, every incident, every happening, maybe through a person, place, or object, is only and only to uplift me from this ocean of births, and with complete surrender, with the mode of acceptance, prasada buddhi, I accept each and everything that comes to me with peace, shraddha, and bhakti. Our humble salutation to the entire Guru Param. Om. Good evening, everybody. A very warm welcome. So here, Lord Krishna is actually preparing us for one of the most important knowledge which is going to impart to us. Apart from he giving us a way for enlightenment, or you call as liberation, or reaching Vaikuntha, Kailas, apart from this, he also tells us how one can live in peace while living in this world. We are in the midst of so many hassles, hurdles, impediments, obstacles, troubles, the list goes on. But then, how do I, being in the midst of all this, how can I be at peace? So, as they say, if you want to change your mind, you need to change your perception. So, here he gives us that perception. Today, we are going to learn verse 14. In a worldly perspective, and again we'll take it in the pure Vedantic perspective also. Now, one of the most important shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita, not only of this chapter 4, are verse number 18 and 24, where he has packed up between these verses 18 and 24, he has packed all the divine knowledge. So, in fact, he is slowly preparing us for that. He is not really imparting the entire concentrated form here. He is slowly trying to acclimatize us in this zone of knowledge. So, we will try to understand this. Verse 14. Before that, verse number 13. There, to summarize verse 13, Lord Krishna said, I have created 4 varnas. So, here varna is not jati at all. Lord Krishna never talks of caste or a jati. He only says, based on the caliber, based on the aptitude of every individual, I have made 4 broad segments. It not only applies to a male, but it also applies to a female. It not only applies to an Indian, but it applies to every human on this planet. So, these 4 broad classifications. Now, as we studied last verse, guna, your aptitude, what you are good at, where your interests lie in life, that was we studied, comes under guna. And then comes the karma, So, you are doing a particular karma in your life. It may or may not be in line with your guna. Like, for example, there is a child who is born in a doctor's family. Now, the father is a doctor, mother is a doctor, uncle is a doctor, auntie is a doctor. Now, they obviously want their son also to be a doctor so that he can continue their profession. So, now this son is interested, let us say, in mathematics, and they force him to get into biology. So, his aptitude is towards maths, but by karma he is forced to become a doctor and he gets into, let us say, the profession of a doctor. So, in this way aptitude is different, karma is different, and then is jati. Jati is in which family you are born. So, Lord Krishna does not really mention anything about this caste, but he only talks in which family you are born. There is no division as far as the family is concerned. Depending on what is their guna and what is their karma, that becomes their specific zone of the four broad classifications. Now, Arjuna is a born royal prince. So, being born in the family of a Kshatriya. And what are his qualities? His qualities are that of a Kshatriya, where he has got the ability to administer, he has got the ability to protect, he has got the ability to govern. Now, in the midst of all this, he is got into a dilemma by being jati, born in a royal family, and by having the aptitude of Kshatriya. He tells Lord Krishna, I want to take sannyas. Now, this is where Lord Krishna, he indirectly is telling all of us, we are so many people in this kind of a scenario. He is trying to tell us that you do your karma. So, guna kshatriya, you are a guna kshatriya, you are a jati kshatriya. Now, you also do become a karma kshatriya. Do your duty. Now, Arjuna is saying, if I do my duty as a kshatriya, then when will I get GNANA? For me, what I want is, I want to realize myself. So, this dilemma which Arjuna is going through, now Lord Krishna is trying to pull him out. So, here he is explaining in the 14th verse, you don't have to worry, being a kshatriya, doing karma as a kshatriya, you will still attain me, meaning liberation. Okay. Now, let us study this chapter 14. I will take through some very subtle points initially, how we can connect, because that connect is more important. If you straight dive into the Vedantic perspective and the hardcore documentary teachings of the great scholars and philosophers, then it will become just a kind of a deep knowledge which we would have gained, but we will not get the benefit out of it. So, I have modulated in such a way where that we have the cake and eat it too also. Okay, come, we will study verse number 14. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Namam karmani limpanti Name karma phale spruha Iti mam yobhijanati Karma birna sabadhyate. See, karmanabhir bhadyate. He is saying karma should not bind you. Karma bhirna sabhadyate. How can you work without karma binding you? This is the core goal which we need to have. That's going to be our goal for this particular verse. How to do karma without getting bound by karma. Because that's what is the worry of Arjuna. Now you are telling me to fight a war, I am going to kill people and I am going to do so many good things, wrong things, bad things. That is all entangle me in a karma, and I don't want to do that. So now, namam karmani limpan. Okay, now we'll progress on this. Come. So this is primarily Lord Krishna is giving a concept again here. How karma done with proper understanding paves way for moksha. And similarly, karma done with an improper understanding binds you into samsara. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spraha itimam yobi janati karma birna sabhadyate. Karmas will not stick to such a person. Now this in chapter 18 verse 46, the same thing is said again. Now see 18 is concluding now. In the chapter 18 he says, Sarva karmana tamabhyartha siddhim vindati manavaha. He says, by doing all actions as a worship unto him. He uses this powerful emotion angle of worship. Do it as a devotion to me, whatever you are doing. You may be sweeping the floor, you may be cooking at home, you may be writing a ledger, you may be driving a vehicle, you may be running a machine, you may be treating a patient. Whatever you are doing, do it as with the devotion to me. So I'll give an example. Now the same thing is also said in Shiva Manasa Puja. Sakarmana tamabhyartha siddhim vandati manavaha. See, these things are repeated. So somebody is more on the Bhakti Marga, so they get this essence. Somebody is in the GNANA Marga, they also don't lose on this. Now, how do I understand this concept of devotion and worship? Simple example. So we all have a puja room or a puja mantap in our homes. Now, as far as the puja mantap is concerned or the puja room is concerned, do we ask the servants to clean the mantap? No. What we do is we take a piece of cloth. We initially dust the whole mantap. We also sweep the floor of the puja room. Then we swab with a cloth. We nicely swab the entire place. We wipe it and we take the idols. We do abhishekam on that. Now if you see, what is this swabbing, wiping, dusting, all this? It's actually equal to what your maid is doing in your house, isn't it? In the whole house she is doing. But just because you have that feeling of devotion in you, that act which you are doing in front of the mantap or in the puja room, that whole act becomes divine because of the bhav which you are carrying. Bhav is the attitude. Oh, this is the Lord's mantap. I need to do this. I need to follow a protocol. So you being the owner of the house, you being the head of the house, what you say, I'll do this personally. So anything done as a service unto the Lord gets the highest recognition. It becomes a divine act. So this attitude, there was no change. It is the same act what the maid is doing outside the puja room, you are doing inside the puja room because you say, I am doing it for the Lord. Another beautiful incident which I would like to mention is, in a hospital, there was a nurse and she was cleaning the wound of a patient. Now the wound was so big, it was on his thigh and it was filled with pus. And not only filled with pus, it was smelling awfully because that pus smell was very awful. Even to an extent, when she was removing the pus, the relatives who had come along with the patient, they moved away. It was that unbearable. Now, an onlooker, supposed to be a, a Jnani, or you can say a yogi, he was looking at this nurse and he asked the nurse, sister, how is it that you are able to tolerate such an unbearable smell, and you are going on pressing the wound and the pus is coming? Even I am not able to bear the smell. So did the relatives, they all ran away from there. How are you able to do this with your own hands? And and with the same hands you eat your food also. So he said, you are a human being just like us, and how is it that you are able to do this? Now this nurse, she gives a fantastic reply. She says, Swami, when I was initiated, when I took the oath of a nurse, the first day of my duty, we were taught one thing crystal clear. A patient is not a patient, but an incarnation of God. A patient is not a human being, but is just an incarnation of God. So I believe that God has come to me in this human form with all these various diseases, and He is giving me an opportunity to serve Him, to take care of Him, to nurture Him, which is eventually going to wash off my sins. This is the lessons I have learned, Swami. And this is the vow a Pratigna which I had to take when I was becoming a nurse. So hence, whenever I see a patient, first thing I visualize in my mind that it is God and God alone. So she told this to that yogi there, but then the yogi asks, but sister, I can understand what you are saying, but I am not able to still digest the fact. So now see, the sister further explains. She was very experienced, and with that holy heart, pure heart, she says, okay, imagine, now I go home and I am feeding my child, okay, who is sitting on my lap, and I am feeding that child. Suddenly the child vomits on me. Do I get disgusted? No. Why? Because the child is my own. Because I have given birth to that child. So it is all in the understanding. So whatever the child does, the child vomits, the child passes stools on me, because the child is mine, I don't feel anything different from me. If the child who is born to someone else and vomits on me, so why should I feel disgusted? If I am clear in my understanding, what difference does it make? Because my understanding is my child has come from a womb, a mother's womb, and that child also has come from a mother's womb. So if I can see this difference between my child born from my womb, whom I am able to tolerate, and a child born from another mother's womb whom I don't tolerate, then it is like I am betraying my job. So she further says, if I see God in every act of mine, she adds to this, Dharma will lead the way for me. So, by these words, and this is no fairy tale or it is no fiction story over here. You can see various nurses, sisters, how they work in the hospitals. If they don't have this kind of a mindset, maybe every nurse may not have the mindset of so much of bhakti, devotion, God and all that, but definitely they have a mindset which they are able to separate their body and mind. So in this way, the Lord prepares you for a makeover. Now, namam karmani limpanti. So the nurse says further, I open the wound, I remove the pus with cotton, and several times I need to press the wound so all the pus comes out. Then I clean the wound. I put ointment with my hands, then again I place cotton, I bandage it, then I wash my hands, I attend various other works and I go home. Now when I go home, I have my meals. So then the yogi asks, while you are having your meal, don't you remember all the wounds you cleaned and plastered and what all the patients did, vomited, this, that? Says, Swami, that remembrance comes only to the mind but not to my hands. See how they have prepared their mind. That mind which can remember, I leave it in the hospital and I come home. I eat my food with the same hands. My hands don't get disgusted. But what gets disgusted is the mind, which I have left it in the hospital. So when this disgustedness, aversion is not there in the hands that did the job, then why such a disgust should be there in the mind which actually did nothing? See, here if you closely observe, what this nurse is talking is about practicing that Ahamnasha. She is able to keep the mind in a separate vertical or a box. For every action done by any part of the body, this mind Ahambhava takes the credit. If the mouth spoke something good, it says, see how well I spoke, how well I sang. And if it walked a long distance, it will say, see, I can walk such a large distance. That were the legs which walked. So likewise, the aham bhava is the mind which always takes the credit. But here by practice, this nurse has separated the mind from her actions. What a great achievement. So what we are taught to do in the spiritual path, you are not the doer. We are using the same principle here. Aham karta we say, no? Naham karta. I am not the doer. Aham karomi, I am the doer, That is what we are used to. But here we have been constantly, right from day one, we have been saying Naham karta, Hari Preranaya, Hari Prityartham. Who is the doer? It is the karta. Prakriti and Purusha is the doer. You are only a witness to all this. So the Lord says, Arjuna, you are a karma yogi. Do not seek happiness in the work which you undertake, nor in the fruits of the work you undertake. But he says, find true happiness. For that, you need to offer the work unto me with Eshwara Arpana Budhi. Everything which you do, offer it with devotion to me. Yadyad karma karomi tad akhilam shambho tavaradanam. So this is the concept. And now if you go by the modern science, there is a beautiful saying. Self-confidence is a learnable skill. Now this has been also proved by science, where the neurons in your mind, those neural pathways, they are constructed by constant repeating of activity and a thought. So he says self-confidence is a learnable skill like typing or riding a bicycle. You develop it with practice. So the more you do any particular act, you will be able to do it that seamlessly well. See, initially you take a shloka for example, you will be practicing one word with 2-3 bifurcations, and then you will go to the next word. So if there are about 6 words in one line, you learn each word, you get the fluency in that one word, and then you join 2 words, then you join 3 words, then you join 4, then you are able to read the entire sentence. You are at least able to read. Then the same thing you will do with the second line, and then you will chant all the entire shloka together. After some time you will be able to memorize, and with a little attention you are able to recite the verse. And as you keep continuously practicing it, one day, like without even thinking about it, you will be able to recite that verse. How did this happen? It happens with practice. So in the same way, this devotion to the Lord, this devotion, bhakti towards the Lord has to be by practice. Every activity. Now what you can do, say you have different portions of work, okay. Like what are the portions? Let's say you are taking a shower. So that is Naham Karta Hari Karta Krishna Arpanamastu. So there you offered that particular activity. You are taking your meal, let's say. So there you have to say Krishna Arpanamastu. You are not eating that meal. So in this way, one has to offer each and every activity. After that, you let's say you are going to to cook. So Krishna Arpanamastu. Naham Karta Hari Karta Krishna Arpanamastu. Very simple. You are bifurcating your different works, and you are doing that work. So this is the attitude where the moment you start doing it, then it becomes a stereotype for you. Then you don't have to think much. Before you start doing, you will be reminded of that, because the brain is tuned to such an extent that it will give you those reminders. So this way the Lord says, Namam karmani limpanti name karma phalaspraha. So he says, since I have no craving for the fruit of actions, actions do not contaminate me, he says. Now this is again a very important thing which we need to understand. Meaning what? I have to do an action where the action should not contaminate me, meaning he says, if you have that feeling of I am doing that action, we will go to this point in much detail in the second aspect, where I said we will study this from the Vedantic perspective, this particular shloka. So he primarily says that when you do any action, having offered to me with that feeling of devotion, then there is no craving for the fruit of action also, because you have already offered it to me. So that mind which can remember again and again what Lord is, what I have offered this to the Lord, and being in that sense of devotion and bhakti, a person is doing everything with that Eshwara Arpana Budhi. Naham Karta Hari Karta. You see that the Lord himself is doing this action. How? He has created this body, mind and soul. And who is generating thought from time to time in my mind? Thoughts are not coming to me the way I want to think. We have observed this. So who is the very source of that awareness, consciousness within me? Now let's take an example. if we have to understand this consciousness, awareness, thoughts are coming from time to time. Our organs of action, our sense organs, they are all working in line with that thought. And that thought was because of I am a conscious person, I am aware of what is happening because of that Chetana Shakti running in me. Now the example here is, let's talk of a musician, okay? He is playing a veena. Now every sound or a raga, musical note coming out of the veena, which is melodious to the ears, who is the reason for it? Is it the instrument or the musician? Now if you think carefully, the instrument, meaning the veena, is just an instrument. It has got nothing in it to do. You keep it there, it will be lying there as it is. The instrument has surrendered itself to the musician. It is doing nothing. It does nothing. It stays calm and quiet without any hindrance. Now, if the instrument were to think that I am the reason for giving such melodious musical notes, don't we laugh at such a statement and call that instrument veena as a fool? Now look at our lives. Are we not saying that we are the doer? We are just like that instrument in the hands of the musician. Imagine that instrument, if it says no, you are not playing well, and it starts moving in different direction, then the whole game will be spoiled. And of course it doesn't have the capacity also. But knowing very well, compare this situation to our lives. We do something and we say, I am the doer. What, you are the doer? Your very next breath is not yours. If the breath stops, do you have the capacity to take a breath? You are not able to control your hunger, you are not able to control your sleep, you are not able to control your heart, your lungs, your digestion. Very common things I am talking about. So your hands, our hands are inert, our legs are inert, our eyes, ears, mouth, everything is inert. All this is functioning because only and only there is consciousness within, who is just like that musician there. He is playing the instrument. We are an inert instrument like the veena or the tabla or the flute. We are like that, dead and inert. And only thing is we are not aware of this. That is ignorance. Now when knowledge has come into us, now we slowly start thinking, yes, it makes sense. If that consciousness is not there in me, then how will I ever be able to perform? The very next moment I won't be able to perform. So one has to go with that constant idea in mind. I am just an instrument like that flute or the tabla or the veena. There is somebody who is playing it. Then only we can get these musical notes out of the instrument. This is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam 4.9.6. What it says? Yontha pravishya mama vachamimam prasuptam sanjeevayatakila shakti daraswadhamna anyamscha hastacharana shravanatvagaadin pranan namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam. It says the indweller, that Purusha, is the one who is enlivening my body, my mind, my intelligence, my speech, my hearing capacity, my thought. Everything is done by that enlivening power within me. So whenever anything is happening through our body, mind, senses, like if I am talking now, you are hearing now, all this we have to first understand that this is an inert body, mind, which is able to do what it has to do, by that awareness or consciousness, Chetana Shakti within it. Have that understanding. You are not the doer. You are that dead, inert instrument. The musician is operating, he is playing the instrument. The Jiva is the instrument. So, for this you don't need to be a great philosopher. Common sense is enough to get this concept, and then we can slowly start changing our attitude in life. Oh Lord, you are doing. What am I saying? I am not offering anything to you. Let's say you get down from a plane, you have traveled say from Delhi to Mumbai, and you get down from the plane and you say, I left the plane at the airport and I came. What, you left the plane at the airport and came? It was never your plane only. See, these are the wrong concepts what we have. You come in an auto and you say, I left the auto. It was never your auto. So, this body, it was never yours. What did you do to contribute to this? You have only been trying to enjoy with this body. Always try to bring happiness with this body. Of course, sadness and pain, all this is coming because there is some principle operating behind it. But you have always tried to take advantage of this body-mind complex. It was never yours. We have to take this simple concept in our life and have that constant feeling, Naham karta hari karta. Krishna Arpana mastu. Hari Preranaya, Hari Prityartham. Every moment is giving me that thought. Some good thought comes, some bad thought comes in me. Now all this is coming from within. Naham karta hari karta. So keep saying this and do everything with the feeling of that consciousness. You being the flute, you being the tabla or the veena, understand that the musician is playing. You are not making any sound over here. You are not creating any musical note over here. It is that musician alone, that awareness, that consciousness within us is doing everything. Surrender and just be steady in the hands of the musician. Let him play his tune. Leave it at him. Then you will see amazing musical notes coming out of you because you have started the Bhakti Bhava, Arpana Bhava, and when with that surrender you have moving forward in life, you will see drastically changes coming in you for the better. So the irony in this world is we spectators, like there are spectators in the hall, they also only recognize the musician. I am talking one step behind now. If you take between instrument and musician is one relationship. Now who is there in that musician? Now use that, or you talk of another example where somebody sang a beautiful song. Okay, let us not take musician, you will be confused. Talk of a great vocal singer. Now after they rendered a beautiful song, we only look at that singer and we say, what a performance, how well he or she sang. But do we see who was the awareness or the consciousness behind the singer? No. So just as you look in yourself, within yourself, what Lord Krishna is saying is, this attitude should be when you look at others also in life. You are all instruments and there is one pure consciousness which is running the entire world. So this is the ignorance. Now how do you relate this to the understanding of living in this world? Another example. There is a puppet show. So in the puppet show, first they show Sri Rama and then Sita Devi comes in and then the Swayamvar happens, then the marriage happens and then they go to the forest and then Ravana comes in and then Rama and Ravana have a fight. In the fight, Ravana dies, and then again Sri Rama and Sita Devi, they go back to Ayodhya. Okay, now in this whole play, if you see, there was one person who was operating all the strings in that puppet show. That was, there is only one person who was playing Rama. That same person was moving his fingers and he was playing Sita Devi. And the same person was also operating Ravana. So behind every person in this world, there is only one and one supreme truth, which is that pure consciousness, that Paramatma, who is playing this entire game of life. But we, due to ignorance, what is happening? We are stuck in the characters, like the dolls. And if we only take an effort to go one step behind and see the cause, then we realize that yes, there is a puppet operator there. So we are only in that material strata, which is the padartha, what we call, which is the effect, and we fail to see the yadhartha, which is the cause. So likewise, so Lord Krishna says, hey Arjun, for this entire creation, of course karma is the foundation, and your janma is because of karma. Your cause of coming here is because of karma. Your survival here is on the lines of karma and because of karma. Therefore, if there is no karma, there is no survival to this entire creation. If there is complete stoppage of karma, the whole wheel of creation will come to a complete halt. So, he says there are some very selected few who have got the grace of the Lord. That special few are called back. Yes, you have a lot of karmic account in your kitty. Now, good, bad, you will have to take lives after lives to experience that good and bad. There he comes with this knowledge, this divine knowledge. He drives away the ignorance and he imparts this knowledge. So what we all have to do is just keep doing our karma, but with the right understanding. Once you do karma with the right understanding, then you will come out of the wheel of this karmic chakra. So Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, I am going to give you that understanding. Keep it in your mind and do all your karmas and come out of the samsara chakra. And he also wants him, if you don't understand this properly, and if you only think that, oh, I'll have to go to the Himalayas, I do my meditation and I gain this knowledge and I'll be with that. No, you have to do your karma. That is the reason he stressed on the earlier verse. He said, yes, these are the broad classifications and you are a Kshatriya, Janma Kshatriya, Guna Kshatriya, and so your Karma Kshatriya is also important over here. So now let's understand in more detail about doing karma, that right understanding of this awareness. We just touched based the concept of awareness, Chaitanya Shakti. Now what is that Chaitanya Shakti? Using the Sat Chit Ananda principle, now we will understand this in much more detail. Come. So what they say here is, we all do actions and do actions in such a way that you are untouched by action and the result of action. This is the concept. Now from the worldly point of view, look at every action. You take up some endeavor in life. Okay. Now that is, any action is karma. Okay. Now, doesn't that karma start creating that tension in you? You have a train to catch, or you have a flight to catch, you have a bus to catch, you have to report at a particular time. There is uneasiness all along. There is a kind of anxiety, worry, exhaustion, and at the place of work you have got so much of deadlines, there is stress and strain. So when somebody is doing karma, there is already so much of strain. Then imagine when you have a particular result in mind, and if that doesn't come, how badly you will be affected in life again. And everything does not happen the way you have asked. See, because you want certain things. I have done all this work. Let's say I have done a business, I want money, I want profit. I am working, I want a promotion, or I want a raise. And then if you are studying, you will say for higher studies, PG, I want to go to the top 10 colleges of the world. Then with that study, I'll get a good degree, then I'll get a placement. Now, somewhere you want to earn wealth. Out of that wealth, I'll become knowledgeable and I'll get a position in the society, I'll marry, then I'll have children. And then some people also, they perform rituals. For what? Rituals to go to heaven. These are all the kind of karma phala, the fruit of actions which we have in mind. So here he uses the word spruha. If you see, the word spruha is namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha. Spruha is that desire, that thirst. So every karma is followed by that spruha, which is the thirst, and that thirst is for the karma phala. And we are bogged. We think, okay, getting money, making properties, then also getting married, having children and having grandchildren. You must see, people, they say, oh, I have got grandchildren now. And then I have got my grandchildren's children. Oh, that's another big medal or the feather in their cap. Accumulating property is a feather in their cap. Having more and more cars is a feather in their cap. Okay, this is the worldly part. Now come to that, some people are there who are having, let's say, a desire for knowledge. They are going for more and more books. Let's even talk of the Vedantic knowledge. Now here they don't follow any principle of what Lord Krishna is saying. They just want to increase their knowledge. So Lord Krishna says this is a bottomless pit. You put money into it, you put Vedanta into it, you put possessions into it, desires, knowledge, whatever it is a bottomless pit. You are always doing some karma. You will never ever be happy. Because at one point you are working hopelessly with so much of effort while you are working, and then again you also have a specific result in mind where again you are stuck with the results. So he says, he asks Arjuna, he tells him, see, when I am working, I am not affected by the results. So what he is saying is, itimam yobi janati karma birna badhyate. The one who understands me in this way is never affected by karma. How? Because here the Lord Krishna gives a secret. I am not this person you think I am. This is the secret revelation he is making. You think I am, as Krishna I am doing all this. No, I am this pure being, existence, consciousness and bliss. Satchidananda. Your entire identity has changed now. This is that big shift which we need to make in our lives. We are not this limited individual which we all think about is. What is spirituality? Become free from the person you think you are. We have completely lost our understanding about ourselves. So Lord Krishna says, as we move ahead, you will be able to understand much further. He elaborates and he dissects it more. He says, Arjuna, you think Krishna? No, I am not the person who is doing here. What am I? I am that Satchidananda, that Sat Chit and Ananda, which is the basis of this entire creation, that universe. That is me. Now, how do you call me Sat? He says, as a Jiva, you have a limited existence. You are a particular person. Okay. As a person, you are born on a particular day and you die on a particular day. So he says, be it a cockroach or be it a star, this has got a particular limitation in terms of its birth and death. One day it is born, it may be there for a day or two or three, or it could even be there for billions of years, but it is going to die one particular day. This is with respect to Kala. And Desha, it is not everywhere. It is at one particular point. But he says, Krishna says, I am that pure Sat which is there everywhere. I am that unlimited existence, not located in one place, nor I am restricted to one particular body. So in this way he says, he further elaborates, you change your understanding, come out of the shell of this Jivatva Bhava and unite yourself with that pure Sat Chit Ananda. How do I understand this? Let's take the very simple example of a movie and a screen. The screen is that, you can imagine, it's that unlimited existence that every character and action, every object you see in the movie, you see on the same screen, you see the villain, you see the hero, the heroine, the side actors, and you see fights, you see volcanoes, you see earthquakes, you see firing, all that you see. What is that now happening? In that unlimited existence, it's happening on the screen. And does it affect the screen? Not a bit. Let a hurricane come, the screen is not torn a bit. Let a storm come, this screen doesn't get wet a bit. Let there be a fire, a towering inferno, the screen is not burnt. Let there be sword fights, the screen is not affected. So in this way he says, you are seeing the screen. Even when you think you are just seeing the movie, you are seeing nothing but the screen. So the relationship is that unlimited being who Krishna knows, I am that. So he just says, come out of this Jiva Bhava, and I am not this Jiva who is performing as a limited entity, but I am that consciousness which is behind me. Just to go one step back, he says, change your ID. For the world you keep your Aadhaar card, it doesn't matter. But within your mind, you change the neural pathway and come to the understanding that I am that awareness which is the reason for this body mind to operate. See, he is not asking you to be some beggar or some degrading you. If you are on a flight and if they say, they come and tell you we want to upgrade you, you will be so happy. You must have thought they are going to upgrade me to business class. But they say, no sir, you are upgraded to first class. My God, that is what Lord Krishna is telling us here. He is telling us, I am upgrading you to first class. Why you are thinking? Now you have to just make an effort and you say, no, 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 I am going to sit here only. How will you go to first class sitting there? You have to take that effort to move with your baggage, whatever you were carrying on board the flight, and go to that first class seat wherever it is. So in the same way, we have to change our mental attitude over here. Again and again think, shift your area of focus from being this limited jiva to being that unlimited existence. Does this sound a little weird? Let's talk of another example. Look at your dream. What happens in a dream? When you fall asleep, first thing what happens is we forget ourselves. We forget the place we are sleeping, the bed we are sleeping, everything you forget and you start dreaming. Okay? You do not know your own existence, your identity. Now the person who is sleeping, he'll start dreaming, correct? As he starts dreaming, he'll create a world of his own. There will be a place, there will be a building or a house, and then there will be a street, and then you have your family, you have your friends. Now, you as a dreamer, you create your character in the dream. There are so many good things happening, there are so many bad things happening, and you are the doer of all the activity in the dream. And we are not talking of any rocket science for us to understand over here. Just connect to your dream and see what happened. So in the same way, you as a dreamer, when you wake up, you must have done a great noble act, or you must have committed a murder. But when you wake up, none of the karma affected you. None of the characters, they affect you of the dream. So that's what Lord Krishna is saying. I am that Sat Chit Ananda. They are only appearances. In this consciousness, we will get to study a lot of this in this chapter in the coming verses. It's going to be properly embedded in your mind. See, when we have given something, let's say we are learning how to sing, okay, there is a particular rag, a melody. You will have to practice this. Till you practice this, you will not get that melody. It will be like something else otherwise. So in the same way, he is going to tell in different versions. Again and again he will tell us. So this dream and this concept of screen and movie, don't worry, it is going to come again and again. So I am not only this pure existence, he says, I am that chit, that consciousness. How am I that consciousness? Now you are thinking of a person who has got thoughts. Change your mindset. You start thinking, who is the generator of these thoughts in my mind? There is consciousness in me, hence I am able to think. I have got memories, I have got desires, I have got ideas, I have got perceptions. I can smell, I can taste, I can see, I can hear, I can talk. Now all this, there is that consciousness. I am not the person doing all these perceptive activities, nor I am the person who is thinking about all this, but I am that pure consciousness which is behind this. This is that ignorance what we have, and is driving that ignorance, Lord Krishna. And then finally he talks about Sat, and after Chit he comes to Ananda. And now Ananda, if we have to talk in terms of, call it a value, okay. So a value which has got some value, okay, where we value something, like we value our children, we value our parents, we value our money, our possessions, we value our experiences, what we have learned, we value our teachers. So do all these things what you value in life, Ananda, this entire set of things which you value in life, does it have any value if you do not have consciousness? Connect it. So for everything to be valued in life, you need to have consciousness, you need to be alive, you need to be aware. That Chetana Shakti has to be there in you. So in this way, the Lord just says, you are that Sat, You are that Chit. Sat is that existence. Chit is that consciousness. And the third thing is that Ananda. Because of that consciousness, whatever you value in life is all appearing to you and it is giving you that joy. Name karmani limpanti. If you start working in this way, don't look at I did good karma, I did a noble act, I did a kind act. No, 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 don't. I have a desire, now I am fearful. No. Iti mam yobi janati. The one who has understood himself on these lines. Iti mam yobi janati. Janati means who has understood. This is very crucial. You have to understand in the proper way. Karma birna sabadhyate. That person will not be affected by karma. He says, don't understand yourself as the doer. Understand yourself as the awareness behind the doer. What is there any rocket science you need for this to understand? What simple. Now if I am talking, I say a good thing, okay, it is a good karma. I say a bad thing, it is bad karma. But if I look at myself as this sayer, the one who talks, rather I look at myself as that awareness within me which is doing the talking through this body and mind, that good or bad karma does not affect you. So the beauty of this Advaita Vedanta, having said all this, I am this unlimited being, I am this unlimited consciousness. So I am this unlimited Ananda. Why I am not affected by karma? Though I am doing all this karma. So the problem here is not Krishna, problem is with Arjuna. Arjuna's problem was, should I do this karma or just be a sannyasi? I don't want to fight. And he says, how will I not be untouched by karma? So here Krishna says, because you are the same thing what I am. Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, you are whatever I told you just now. I am Satchidananda. Arjuna, you are also that Tattvamasi. You are that unlimited being. That you unlimited awareness. You the unlimited value Ananda. You are not this body because you are consciousness. You are consciousness. You are nothing other than consciousness. And consciousness alone is nothing other than you. He makes it again and again. He says, you are not this body and mind. Get that out. The rest of the jivas understand as the body and mind and they live in the jiva and they go in cycle. You come out of that. And he says, you are talking of Krishna. You are that Krishna, he says. You are talking of those so-called your enemies, Duryodhana. You are talking of that Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva. You are that Duryodhana, you are that Krishna, you are that Yudhishthira, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadeva. See this? You got this understanding here? Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. He says there is only one consciousness which is appearing as many. There is only one water in the ocean which is appearing as several waves, big wave, small wave, bubble, froth, mist, all that. It's all water and water alone. Yomam abhijanati, who knows me like this, who understands me like this, he will be free of karma. Do all that you do, keep doing. How do you, if I know Krishna? As Krishna, limited, you are not limited, you are unlimited consciousness, Satchidananda. Then you become free, Aham Brahmasmi. So this way Lord Krishna, he completely transforms Arjuna's mind. He gives him this supreme knowledge. He says, you have to change your mindset now. It's your perception. Come out of this perception of this limited body and start feeling that you are that pure consciousness. Now for this, that's the reason they say to listen to Vedanta you need to have that guts, that courage, because the basic you is destroyed over here. How will you tolerate you being destroyed? That is what exactly we are doing here. The very I, stuck to so many things. I am a father, I am a son, I am a brother, I am a sister, I am a mother, I am a wife. Your identity is challenged over here. So for that you need guts, you need God's grace, where you can think beyond. So only and only if you think beyond, you can reach beyond. Otherwise you can never reach beyond. So in this way, Lord Krishna, he says, understand this. Iti mam yobi janati. In this way, yobi janati, you understand me properly. The one who understands me properly, karma birna sabhadyate. No karma will get attached to you. You will be free of all karma. Keep doing karma. Don't worry. You will be free. Just like that screen. Whatever is flashed on the screen, it will not affect the screen. So without having any aspiration for desire of the actions, you keep doing actions. Keep remembering the Lord who is in the form of Satchidananda, that awareness within you. Every minute He is the cause for the breath you are taking. The perceptions, the seeing, tasting, talking, hearing, every perception, this awareness is the cause. Just to be established in that cause. For this, what big exercise you need to do? You need to just, as we said, get up from that seat where you are in that economy class and start walking towards first class. That's all. That much we should be able to do. If you want to sit in first class, if you want to be, no, I don't want to get up from here, then you be wherever you are. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So 15, 16, 17, he further, it tries to prepare us, as I said, and there then he starts imparting the hardcore knowledge from verse 18 up to 24. Come. So we'll take the Divya Nama. We'll take, we just have 15 minutes. So we'll take one Divya Nama today. Okay. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Shloka 32. And Divya Nama today we are taking is Kamaha. Okay. Let's read the shloka. Bhuta bhavya bhavannataha pavana pavano nalaha kamaha kamakrit kantaha kama kama prada prabhuhu. 297 Kamaha. One who is the beloved. Not only he is the beloved of the devotees, but every activity of all living creatures is an attempt at courting and winning bliss and happiness. The blissful self is the goal of all creatures in life. Even insignificant unicellular organisms revolt against pain, and they too seek happiness. And of course, man is no exception. The infinite bliss, which is experienced only on transcending the body, mind, and intellect, is that which is constantly demanded by every organism that breathes in this universe. In the ignorance of this all-satisfying goal, the world suffers. That Lord is the beloved of all devotees. And in fact, He is also the beloved of even those who deny Him and run after the sense objects. The theist seeks Him through devotion or meditation. The atheist also seeks Him only in and through all his diligent pursuits of the sense stimuli. To such a Lord, Kamaha, we offer our humble salutations. Seek His grace, mercy, and now let's chant Sri Dhanvantari Mantra. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayana Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidhaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. To Lord Dhanvantari, we offer our humble salutation to give us the requisite health till we achieve this goal of self-realization. Om. Now let's do the Siddhi Samadhi Yoga Dhyana with pearls of wisdom. Completely relax your body in this calm and serene state of mind. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Relax your face, your forehead, your neck and shoulders, your complete upper body. Your trunk and lower body. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale deep as you can. Now let's be a pure witness to the thoughts in our mind. This is a very important meditation technique. Perfecting the art of this meditation, you will eventually realize as we move ahead to the ultimate level of meditation. Be a witness of your mind. Observe the thoughts which come in your mind as an onlooker. without being judgmental about the thoughts. Allow the thoughts to fade away. Notice the number of thoughts gradually reducing, and you completely have a zero thought. You are not the mind, but you are an onlooker of the mind. In that state of serene, thoughtless mind, let's implant the seeds and the pearls of wisdom. Shri Gurubhyo Namah. All the movable and immovable you see in existence is by the union of Chptr and Chit. Know that the Paramatma accompanies the Atma, which is present in all beings, and understand that Atma and Paramatma are imperishable in this perishable body. Paramatma is equally present in every soul. All actions are performed by Prakriti and not the Atma. All the diverse living beings are a part of one Prakriti and are born by that one Prakriti, which is created by that one Paramatma. Such Paramatma, who does not have any beginning, who does not have any material qualities, this imperishable Paramatma, although he dwells in the body, he neither acts nor he is tainted. Just like space holds everything, but does not get contaminated, same way the soul, the Atma, although pervading in the entire body, does not get. Just as the sun illumines the whole universe, same way the Atma illumines the entire body. In this way, the one who perceives with eyes of knowledge this subtle difference between Kshetra, which is Vikari, Jada, momentary, and destructible, and who understands Kshetrajna as Nitya, Chetana, Avikari, and Avinashi. And also those who understand that all actions are performed by Prakriti will attain that supreme Parabrahman. Hari Om. That's it. Be in the thoughtless state of mind. Slowly become aware of the breath. Become aware of where you are seated. Become aware of yourself. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shan Shan Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Rub your palm, place them on your eyes, slowly and gently. Together, we offer our humble salutations. Today's Gita Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord and seek His grace, mercy. Shri Krishna Arpana. Idam Namama. Om.